Well, hi, this is Peter Combs from Bidamount.com, and today is Thursday, April 6, 2017. And today we're going to take a look at this week's Sotheby sales in Hong Kong. It was quite a number of them, as many of you know. I forget how many catalogs they had out, probably 11 or so. Here they all are. And we're going to go through them and sort of pick out the highlights and talk about what the results were and what's going on in the market. We had mentioned last week and the week before that I was a little worried. I wasn't worried, but I was just wondering how well they do, because so many of the pieces had been on the market in the last few years. A lot of the material coming up was all very good quality, but not fresh to the market. And for the last couple of years in particular, Chinese buyers have been getting very selective and buying only things that are fresh to the market with good histories and have been in long-term collections, especially European collections. They love that, but also prominent Chinese collections. So we're going to get started here. This was the Beasts of Antiquity, important jade animals from the Changsha studio. This sale can be fairly described as a failure. It didn't do very well. Only 50% of the jades sold. And again, we get back to most of these jades have been bought in the last 20 years, and the jade market's gotten very picky. They want pieces that are from estates, from European estates that haven't been passed around in the trade at auctions. And that was sort of a problem here. A lot of them had been, and the pieces that did sell tended to sell within their estimated ranges rather tightly. Sotheby's rather can't be too happy with that. And then moving on over to His Majesty's Palm, exquisite playthings. This is the small auction, I think about nine lots. They all did very well, 100% sold. These were extremely fine examples. Many of them went to over their high estimates. One piece in particular I noticed was this very rare enamel bowl, extremely rare. There it is. And it brought 8.5 million Hong Kong. If you're calculating at home how much a Hong Kong dollar is, basically the US dollar is about 12%. So if something sells for $1 million, it's about 120,000 US. This bowl had sold in Paris at the Drouot, I remember, in 2013. And they did mention it, let's see, here in the catalog, there it is. A lot 106. Cabinet Portier and Associates had it at a sale at the Drouot, and it brought about 250,000 euros at the time. So that was, roughly $350,000. This time around it did better. It brought 8.5 million. I don't think that this collector was speculating. I think he just bought it because it is a superb bowl. Just an amazing example, and it had come from a French collection. Portier is an old French firm who handle estates. They have a great reputation. They have a nice website. They don't do catalogs, so you have to sort of keep track of them. But at any rate, the bowl did really well. The rest of the sale, that component did very well too. And then next up was modern art. Modern art continues to do very well. They grossed a total of 30 million Hong Kong. They had, I forget how many lots were in this sale. Something like, there were 80 lots in the sale. All of them, I believe the sale rate was 100%, or 90% sold anyway. Did really, really well. They had a good range of material, from abstract to sort of realist modern art. Did exceptionally well in a few categories. So the modern art market continues for Chinese painters to be very strong. And then we had this. This was one of the big pieces. This was the Xuande fish bowl. We had talked about this a week or so ago in a video. These are extremely rare. Regina Crowell did the write-up on it. She wrote like a thesis on this thing. This was the only item in this catalog. There it is, and it brought $25 million, 229,000 Hong Kong. It was a very good price. But when you get down here again, we take a look at it. Look at the catalog notes exhibited. This thing has an exhibition history going back to the Tokyo Museum in 1963, and it's been published. It's a very well-known book among collectors. It had been exhibited at the Osaka Museum. It's just a great example, and drew enormous amounts of interest because it was so finely painted. Just the quality of the painting on this was just amazing. There's a good close-up of it. it hit every button that it was, and of course it was marking period. And then next up was this. This was the Dr. S.Y. Yip collection. Some of you remember Dr. Yip's auction. They held, it was in 2015, I believe, pretty sure, of his furniture. He was a major furniture collector. And this was called Portable Treasures. What a wonderful title. And these were the smaller pieces that he had collected, things that would fit on tabletops and so forth, multi-tier food buckets, desk sets, all Ming Dynasty. There might have been a couple of early Qing pieces in here, but mostly Ming. That was what Dr. Yip was known for. He was a scholar on Ming furniture, and he collected widely and heavily. And here we have it, early saddle pieces. This was early Qing. The top lot of the sale was, where's the cabinet? This one. A really wonderful cabinet. And remember a few weeks ago, they had the Verada sale at Christie's. Also a great collection, and the price results there were very strong. Chinese furniture collectors like to buy from each other. A lot of them are friends. They share their collections. They share their enthusiasm. And it's a little sort of a different atmosphere than people that collect Chinese porcelain or paintings. But this box was in the sale. It was a beautiful, beautiful example. Exceptional quality wood, original hardware, of course, all that. There it is, open. And here's the front of it, spectacularly carved. Most of them, often these aren't carved. So having this figural terracine landscape mirrored on both doors is really quite unusual. And it brought 6.1 million Hong Kong, or roughly, around $700,000 basically. Beautiful, beautiful piece. And it went, everything in this sale, everything in Dr. Yip's collection sold, 100% sold. And let's go over here. That was another piece that I liked, in a Zetan box. Beautiful quality, nice Zetan carving on this of dragons, great hardware, and that brought around 130,000, as I recall. And then we had Chinese art from two American private collections. This sale didn't do very well. 40% of it didn't sell. We had talked about this. The pieces are exemplary. There's some great pieces in here, absolutely fabulous. But they'd been sold and resold. A lot of them have been sold and resold many times in the market over the last 15 or 20 years. And it's not what collectors want now. They want something that nobody else has had outside of it, maybe an old collection going back 100 years or so. So you're going to see a lot of unsold items here. It's too bad. Maybe post-sale they'll broker some of them. This was the top lot in the sale. Was one of the top lots was this early Ming Dynasty Jun Bowl, brought 10 million Hong Kong, so about $900,000. And this important Southern Sung, this crackleware pieces always seem to find buyers, even if they've been through the mill a couple of times. And it sold for 12 million or 12 million Hong Kong, or about $1 million. And I forget what this rib bowl brought, 5 million Hong Kong. Beautiful example, but the rest of the sale was sort of fell through the cracks. And then we had Maureen Pilkington's collection. This was a neat collection. There weren't that many pieces. I think there were like 6 pieces. 6 pardens in the whole collection. But beautiful, beautiful Ming Dynasty yellow wares. And they had this really lovely gardenia dish. Just beautiful quality. Went for 11 million Hong Kong. So call it about $1 million in US. Just really lovely. Blow that up a little. You remember a few weeks ago there was a one of the same pattern that was at Christie's and did about the same. There's always a market for these. But look at the provenance on this. It had belonged to Sir Percival David at one point. It belonged to the David Foundation. It was sold at Sotheby's in the 60s. It was sold at Blewett's, all right? And it's been in Maureen Pilkington's collection for, 30 years. There it is, and it did really well. Provenance, provenance, provenance. You're going to hear that a lot. And then we had this auction. This was the sale called Moments of Flash. And I thought this was a wonderful catalog and a very interesting material. And I was very curious to see how it would do, because Chinese early Chinese photography is getting a lot of traction and a lot of interest among collectors and scholars. They are beautiful things. Most of them are, nearly all of them are silver albumen prints, and when you look at them like this one, it looks just like a painting. It's almost impossible to tell the difference. The sale grossed about almost 7 million Hong Kong, or about $700,000, which is a very nice first effort. And you scroll down the page, you'll see everything. They had nudes and floral scenes, but the fascinating part of these photographs is when you blow them up, the paintings the photographs are remarkably similar to paintings. That is a photograph. That is not a painting. Just wonderful quality, and the crowd gobbled them up. 100% gone. Sotheby should be very pleased with that. It was a good auction, and it's sort of an emerging category for collectors. Then we get over to important Chinese art. This was somewhat of a disappointment. The cover lot in the sale was a blue and white pilgrim flask. It failed to meet its reserve. It didn't sell, as did a number of the more highly estimated items. The couple of the big successes in the sale was this inscribed Imperial Famille Rose vase and this Qinlong blue and white example. And here's the vase here, marking period of the Qinlong. Wonderful quality. Y'all know what this is. So with poems down the side, there was a good write-up on it. It had a provenance going back to the Yamanaka Company in Tokyo, which was the legendary, if you don't know about Yamanaka, they were a Japanese-based company, and they had offices in stores in the United States, Chicago, New York, Boston, and they did auctions at the turn of the century. But they had a very famous research department, and they turned up the best stuff. And then this vase also had been in the collection of Dr. Michael Klatchkow up until 1968, and that was it. So this painted vase hadn't been on the market in a long time. It came to the market, and everybody loved it, and it brought 21 million Hong Kong, or nearly $3 million. And then the next piece that I think was really wonderful in the auction was this blue and white dragon vase, Qinlong, Marken period, exceptional quality. If you blow it up, here's the detail of the work. The detail quality on this vase is really extraordinary, really, really great. And when you look down at it, they gave you there's a picture of the mark on here. There's a catalog, nice long catalog note on it, and the history of these vases and mentioned other examples. And the provenance on it was the Matsuyama collection, and it found a lot of interest, and went for about $5 million, a little over $5 million US, about 44 million Hong Kong. And moving along now to this sale, Song Ceramics from a distinguished private collection. It did all right. About 70% of the sale sold. The two big lots in the sale was this really rare Jin to Yuan dynasty example. I think I have a slide of it up. There it is. A beautiful Junyao octagonal Buddhist ritual piece. It brought 5.1 million Hong Kong, or roughly $600,000. Very, very nicely glazed, lovely color, and a very rare form. And it did just fine. And it came from, not surprisingly, it was sold to this collector by Robert Hatfield Ellsworth in New York in 1999, nearly 20 years ago. But a beautiful example. And the other piece was the cover lot of the sale right here. It was lot 3218, and it brought 19 million Hong Kong. It went about 80% above its high estimate. And it's a really nice Dingyao carved peony bottle or bottle vase. Notice the wonderful way it's potted. This beautiful tapered neck. Let's pull it down. There it is. This very, very nice curve to the neck. Lovely verted, flattened rim, and then down here in the body you have this finely carved, incised, decorated peonies, and a beautifully done splayed foot that curves off down onto its base. It's just what you want to see on one of these. It was a great one, and it did very well. As I mentioned, it brought Let's see if we can get back to it. No, I guess we can't. At any rate, brought 19 million Hong Kong. It brought about $3 million. And then there was this. Now, if some of you are sitting scratching your head saying, I don't remember this, it's because it wasn't in the regular sales, and I don't know why. I don't know what the thinking was behind this. But this is an extremely rare Tang Dynasty lacquer head that was in an auction called the Curiosity 2 sale. And the auction had all kinds of odd stuff in it, fossils and antiquities and all kinds of things from all over the world. And this head was in there. I missed it entirely myself when I first was looking at the catalogs. I didn't even think to look in this one. But I was just doing something the other day, and I thought I'd flip through it. And here it is. Regina Crowell wrote a great write-up on it. And I think this might have been one of the great bargains of the entire sales series in Hong Kong. It brought a couple of $1 million, which is a lot of money. But this is Tang Dynasty. And this is a big head. It's 24.5 inches tall. Unbelievable condition for early lacquer. All right, this is a very early lacquer, and it was just in fabulous condition all the way around. There was even still red pigment on the face, the sculpture of the face, the eyes, the hair. Here it is, the bun, all of it just amazing quality, and it brought around 2 million. A nice big Buddha head. You're not going to find another one. And I think whoever got this maybe got their best buy of the week for people that shop in the $1 million range. So bravo. So that was the sale. That was the series, rather. And if you want to see the catalogs, I'll put it back up here for you. Right there. Come over to the site anytime. Come over to Bidamount.com. Click Dealers and Auctioneers. It'll take you to a page that has a link to this Sotheby's page. And here are the catalogs, and you can come and browse through them and check prices and do whatever you want. All right. And thanks for visiting, and we'll do the other video about eBay things shortly. All right. Have a great week. Bye-bye.